whatever, huh? It's almost identical. Good meditation? You enjoy it? Yeah? Oh, yesterday I thought there's no mosquitoes. Today there is? Yeah? That sister with the glass, did she sit there all day? Yeah. How come I didn't see you this afternoon? I saw you now. Okay, I pretend not to see you. That's best for me. Okay, there's a very a nice joke to wake you up. There was an old woman, around my age perhaps, with a lot of flower on her shirt, Why is she probably old? That's why. When you see flowers, like that, yes, then you know. We're getting old. The lady is only, gentlemen, I don't know. Do you wear flowery shirts when you get old? Yes or no? No, I don't think so. I saw all these old men, senior citizens wearing white shirts. Okay. An old woman went to a supermarket and she went to tomatoes place, or tofu, whatever. Huh? Okay, a vegetarian anyhow, huh? We don't talk about meat anymore, it's disgusting. And she bent down to pick some tomatoes, or tofu, whatever. And then, because she was old, perhaps she bent it so awkwardly, like the way I did, when I do some, the Three River Union dance or something like that. You remember? Yes. And then it happened that her spine, gave her some trouble and gave her a sharp pain. So she just shrieked, like, ah! Yeah. The way you see the mouse in the kitchen, yeah. And also the sellers, in the counter say, oh, wow. If you think the price of tomatoes is expensive, you should see the price of the zucchini. There was one man, who has a long hair, long hair, and a kind of tattered jean, walking around with one glove in his hand. Yeah. So the other one is a very serious old man, came after him and asked him, oh, my son, obviously you have lost one glove. So the young man said, no, I have just found one. We always presume, that this person think this and that person think that, but this might not always be true. So we always have to be careful what we think. Did you meditate well, huh? You feel the time pass quickly? Yes? Okay. And have good result or not? Huh? No? Did you turn your clock fast so that you so that the time passed quickly? When we meditate well, the time passes so fast, huh? Same as when we have a lot of good time or good company, huh? Then time passes so fast. Yes, that's the trouble with me. I don't even know when time comes, time goes, if I have something good going on. What else? No, that's it. Today Jesus complained to me around lunch. He said, what have I done to you that you have twisted my teaching? I told people, if somebody slaps you on the right cheek, you give him the left. And then you told people that when you slap somebody on the right cheek, slap also the left. Why say, my Lord, I'm sorry, perhaps I'm getting old. I have forgotten whether you slap the cheek or you give the cheek. So he just shook his head and said, wow, this woman. She makes fun of everybody, including Buddha and Jesus. So he said, including myself, my Lord. So he said, okay, just forget it. Okay. Perhaps this is a similar story to what I have told you before, but maybe it's good. There was a disciple, namely following Master Ching Hai or something. He wanted very much to renounce the world, but he always claimed that his family loved him so much, too much, very terribly much, so they don't let him go. And he believed that. Now his guru said to him, love? What is that? That isn't love at all. Listen to me. Yeah. And he revealed a very secret formula of a yogic tradition by which you can fake your death, and nobody would know. So he just make him dead right there. The next day, everybody knows that he's dead. To all the outward appearance, he's a dead man. And the house, was so loud with cries and wailings of his families and friends and all kind of dogs and cats and all the pets in the family. They make a really very loud chorus or opera. And the guru just showed up at the door and told the weeping family that he had the power to bring the man back to life. No problem. But some one of the family members must replace him, must die for him. That's it. For example, the wife would be the best because they have a very loving relationship. So the karma is equally shared between them both, almost. So if the wife would take the fate of the husband and die in his place, then the husband will come back to life. And the corpse was laying there and listening to all this. And every member of his family have tried to bring enough excuses and reasons to tell the guru that they are not the suitable, candidate. The mother would say, wow, I'm the head of the family and the father has died and I have to look after all these members. Without her, the family would fall apart. And then other brothers and sisters say they have kids and they have responsibility and even if they are not married, they are going to. How can he leave his fiancée alone now? Things like that. Or how can she leave her husband after they just married? And the one who already married long time ago said, oh, we have been married for so long, it's very difficult to leave my husband suddenly like this. So anything is very good. Just the way you make excuses for me many times. Very logical. And then the wife, she kind of sum up all the sentiment of all the people, including herself. She says she must stay and look after the families because she's the one who take charge of all the finance and take care of all the details in the house. Yes. So she announced that according to all these members' reasons and logic, I don't think it is necessary to bring the husband back to life. I think we can manage without him. So so the corpse just woke up and walked out with the guru. Okay, that's it. Because it's Shakyamuni Buddha birthday, supposed to be, so we have another story about him again. You like to? Okay, this is called the golden elephant. Anyhow, this is a white elephant, but I changed it into golden. Since so many golden already, might as well have another golden elephant. Huh? Makes no difference to us whether it's white or golden. Oh, you would rather him white? Huh? Yes or no? Okay. When I was learning German, there was a cartoon, very cute. I was a farmer's wife standing next to a white cow. And there was an artist, painting portrait and picture. He came and asked the wife, can I paint your cow? And then she said, no, I like him white. Okay, now you can imagine, I take my canvas, my brush and my color, and I paint the elephant golden, just to match other golden. Monkey, deer, and a lot of us, goose, and a lot of them. So this is one of the Buddha one of the Buddha previous reincarnation before he became a human Buddha, supposed to be. Huh? Now, long time ago, near the foothills of the Himalayas, there lived a magnificent white golden elephant. He was the lord of 80,000 elephants again. How come? I think all the goose and the monkey reincarnate with him every time 80,000. And he reigns supreme over them. His only sorrow was that he had an aged and blind mother. Every day he roamed deep in the forest to gather wild fruits, and he sent the choicest to his mother with his followers. But these wicked elephants gave none of the fruit to the elephant's mother and ate it all up themselves. Wow. Nice to be a leader of a group like that. In the evening, when the elephant returned home, he used to ask his mother if she had eaten well, and she always replied that she had been given nothing to eat the whole day. Finally, the elephant decided to leave his selfish herd. One night, when all the other elephants were asleep, he led his mother away. To Mount Kadorana, somewhere in the Himalaya. He found a cave close by a sparkling lake covered with flowering pink lotuses, and he and his mother lived there alone by themselves. One day, a forester from Benares, who had come to this area to visit his relations, lost his way and found himself near the lake. Frightened by his strange and unfamiliar surrounding, he began to lament and cry aloud his bad luck. The elephant, who was feeding in the lake, heard him and came out of the water. But at the sight of the massive beast of the forest, the person fled in fear. However, the elephant went after him and calling out, Don't run. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to harm you. Come here and tell me why you are weeping. So the forester told him, I have lost my way, O elephant, and for the past 7 days I have been wandering around in this terrible forest. Stop crying. I live here and I know the way out of the forest. The elephant lowered his trunk and lifting the man onto his back, took him out of the jungle. The forester went on his way to Benares. On his return, he heard that King Brahmadatta's, again, state elephant had died a few days ago. Heralds rode about in the city proclaiming that if any man know of or has seen an elephant fit for the king to ride, let him come forward with the information and he will be rewarded richly. So the forester, in hope of reward, immediately went to the king and reported to him about the golden elephant and where he lived. He said he has even marked the way carefully himself so he can go back to where the elephant stays. Not only now, but he already had the mind to capture the elephant the moment he was rescued. Can you imagine that? I'm sure that we will be able to catch the animal, the forester told the king. So the king agreed readily and sent his subordinate to go with the forester to catch the elephant, as well as a troop of soldiers. After a journey of many days through fields of ripe corn and fertile valleys, they arrived at the lake near Mount Kadorana. They saw the white elephant collecting tender lotus shoots for his blind mother to eat. The elephant scented the presence of humans and looking up saw the forester hiding behind a tree. He thought, oh, it is this ungrateful wretch who has led the king's men here. However, I am very strong. I can scatter 1,000 elephants. Doubtless, I will be able to kill these puny men. But in doing so, I may wound or kill several. I do not want to harm them. Let them take me to the king, and I shall then ask to be set free. So the elephant trainers went down to the lake. This elephant allowed himself to be led away by his long silvery trunk, a golden trunk. Evening fell, and the elephant's blind mother waited in vain for her son. She had heard the noise made by the king's men and realized that they had taken away her son. She began to weep most bitterly. What am I to do now that my son has gone? Who will care for me? Blind and old that I am, my son is such a fine and noble animal. I am sure some king has taken him away to ride him into battle. Then he will be killed, and I will never see him again. So she was crying and crying. In the meantime, the white elephant has been brought to Benares. The whole city was decorated in honor of the king's new state elephant. Oh, state elephant. Just an elephant for the king, and the whole city was decorated. Can you believe this? Huh? Even though it's a Buddha's elephant, but they didn't know. Huh? Just for the king's sake. Now the trainers led him into a stable decorated with garlands of fragrant flowers. Oh, it's now very similar here. A lot of flowers. It's not fragrant though. And surrounded him with a finely painted screen. Wow, even that. Look better than my house. All sorts of tempting food was given to him to eat. But the elephant refused, all of them. In despair, the trainers went to the king and reported to him that the elephant refused anything. Everything that is put before him, it will pine away and die without any nourishment if it continues like this. What are we to do? So the king went himself to the elephant's stable and offered him food from the royal table. God, come, eat, great elephant. Why do you sorrow? Are you not proud that you have been chosen to serve your king? The elephant turned away his head and replied, Sir, I will eat nothing until I am restored to my mother's side. Where is your mother? She is at Mount Kadonarana, sir. She is old and blind and must be in great difficulty now that she is alone. Without someone to feed and care for her, she will surely die. So the king was deeply touched by the elephant's concern for his mother and decided to set him free. Go back to your mother, great elephant. Continue to look after her as you have done in the past. So the elephant went back to Mount Kadorana. He entered the cave and was overjoyed to find that his mother was still alive. Filling his trunk with water from the lake, he sprinkled gently over her. The blind elephant thought it was raining and cried out, How does this rain fall out of season? What evil deity is near? If only my son was here, he would protect me. So the golden elephant went closer and falling to his knees, tenderly caressed his mother. Then she realized that it was her son and began to trumpet with happiness. After she knows that the king has set her son free, she was full of praise for the king. Long live King Brahmadatta. Again, they always find each other, the Buddhas and the king of Benares. May he ever reign in peace and prosperity. The gods will shower blessings on him for his goodness in sending my son back to me. The elephant and his mother lived on near the lotus-filled lake, and he cared tenderly for her till the day she died. Then the white elephant himself passed away. The king erected a stone image of him by the side of the lake. Every year an elephant festival was held there, and the king and his subjects honor the memory of the noble animal. Finished. When you go to India, do you see some of the elephant image in the shrine? Some of the shrines in India? Huh? Or there is a god called Ganesh with elephant belly, elephant trunk, in the shape of elephant. The Indian people worship him. Do you see? You have not been in India, huh? Okay. Now, perhaps there was such an elephant, huh? Who has been so pious and devoted to his mother, and who is so good and kind, even though he was betrayed by men, he was still very kind and good. Maybe that's why the Indian people, they worship animals so much, because of all this story. They don't eat cows, they don't eat pigs, they don't eat chickens. They even go to the extreme as worshipping mice, and snakes, cows, anything. There are some temples specially devoted to snakes. And all the snakes are crawling around there, living freely. What is that? You scare, huh? I'm not telling you for a story. There are pictures and all that in the magazine sometimes. And all the monks there are devoted their life to feed the snakes and to worship the snakes, and wishing to be reborn as a snake in that jungle. Surely they will be, if they think of the snake enough. And there were other temples where people worship mice. I saw the mice running everywhere and eating anything together with the people. And when the devotees of the mice came, they would bring the best food for the mice, and feed them with their own hand or in their own bowl, and then eat the leftover for the blessing. And many priests are in the temple who left the families and everything, renounced the world in order to devote their lives for the mice, and wish to be reincarnated as a mice. Now all this sounds very weird to you, but it's true stories. Many things, anything happens under the sun, and anything happens in India. If you don't believe me, you go there and look. So if you still have an illusion to go to India and fight a guru, maybe you end up with a mice or a snake. I'm not kidding you. And sometimes they worship cow too. Anything that is strange, they worship even more. For example, one day, a long time ago, I was in a festival in India called what? 12 years once. You remember? Every 12 years there's one festival for the monks. You remember the name? Monks, huh? Kumbh Mela, yes, thank you so much. Yes, Kumbh Mela. And the great Kumbh Mela. There were two kinds of Kumbh Mela. Mini Kumbh Mela and a big Kumbh Mela. The real Kumbh Mela is 12 years. Every 12 years, all the practitioners in the Himalaya around India, so-called holy men, they all gather in one of the 4 holy places in India. One of the places is Harvard, right? Harvard. And that means the gate of heaven. Is that true? Is that right? Yes, thank you so much. I still remember 2 or 3 leftover Sanskrit. And when they gather there in thousands, 10 of thousands, 100 of thousands, and millions of Indian people would go there for pilgrimage and to worship these holy people and to offer them food and necessity, clothing and all that, and ask for their advice and blessing. So you will see all sorts of holy men there. Oh, why? What am I talking about now? Okay. Did I tell you this before? I did, huh? No? I didn't tell you anything about Kumbh Mela? You did, huh? I did, huh? I was there, huh? Last summer I told you I was there, huh? In connection with what? Okay. Sometimes the same story, but because a different connection, so I repeat it again, huh? Anyhow, so I was there. And I saw all kind of holy men, laying on the nails bed or hanging on the tree, or no, not by the neck, huh? Okay. Maybe a leg or 2, but not the neck, huh? Don't think they hang there, become holy, and then you hang your neck there. Nobody guarantee that. And some people go around with a chastity belt for men, not women. And I don't know where the key is, but he's wearing a kind of metal underwear, and that's the only thing he wear. And the metal was so thick like this, I don't know how the poor man walk around. Okay, if he likes it that way, God bless him. I don't know about the hygiene. But it might work, huh? It's my work to protect your chastity. Why don't you, some of you, try and tell me? You've always been crying with me about your chastity. Yeah, that you want to keep yourself pure, virgin, or whatever. Try, okay? Just throw away the key and live with it. Usually, this kind of chastity belt or underwear are made for women in the old time, when the man, as a soldier, have to go out and fight. So he worried that his wife at home, might not be so comfortable being alone. So she might seek a company of something. So they just give the wife the chastity belt, they call it, to keep the wife, behave at home. And some of the Himalayan master teach yogi, they wear this kind of chastity belt. And so many things. But that is not when you go there also, wow, a lot of naked yogi, they just go around like that with ashes on their body, nothing else, not even a piece of cloth, talking about breaking the law. If they dare walk like that in New York, huh? Okay. And in India, these are nothing for the Indian people. They don't look at outside appearance. They just look right inside the soul of the practitioner and worship them with all reverence and purity and devotion from their hearts. There is nothing in India that is not acceptable. So actually, in some cases, the Indian people went to the extreme, But for some of the good part, I think the Indian people are so pure and holy by their hearts. They accept anything, any religion. And if you are just wearing some kind of weird clothes or servant robe, they would immediately worship you. They never question where you come from, or how long you have been holy, or whether you have truly been holy or not. They don't care. They just trust you completely. Now, if you have nothing else to do and you're bored with life, you might just grow a bear, like a bird, a bear long, as long as you can. If not, just put some medicine to grow it. And then put a servant robe or even a white sheet of bed sheet, just sit on the Ganges River bank. And then you have a lot of things to eat. And a lot of people come and touch your feet and worship you and love you. No problem. Doesn't matter you look white or you look black or you look pink. They don't care whether you're Indian or foreigners, whatever. If you sit there with a robe and, look like a holy man and grow a bear, I couldn't. That's why I didn't sit on the Ganges River bank. Because I couldn't grow a bear myself. I probably consider next time, if I'm fed up with you, I probably, smear some medicines or make the bear grow, and disguise myself and sit on the Ganges River bank, and then I will have be incognito, because Indian people don't bother much about where you come from. As long as you have a bear, it's okay. It's because I'm a woman, so I cannot sit there. But there are some women, yogis too. They probably, sometimes they live together with other women, renunciates, or they live together with their son and relatives who were also renunciate. And they just really live near the Ganges River and eat there, bath there, drink water from there. And they go around begging for food and then go back to the caves and meditate or recite their mantras, whatever. That kind of life is also very, I think, very peaceful. No responsibility, no stress, and no problem. So apart from all these things, people worship different animals too. For example, anything looks strange, they would worship. I've seen some cows, cows with 2 legs. Oh no, 5 legs. Sorry, 5 legs. So that's probably good for some men, a lot of legs. The one grow out of the weight or something like that. Probably defect by birth, sometimes. Or with two tails. And then people would go and worship this kind of cow. It's funny. I'm not kidding you. They would come and touch the feet of the animal or touch their bottom, whatever, and then offer them food, very, very respectfully. So in this case, I think the people are so extreme and ignorant. But otherwise, Indian is a liberal country. They accept all kinds of religions. And sometimes some of the religions are not truly very good for them. Before, they used to be 100% or 90% vegetarian. And now, due to some of the religious influence from other countries, and due to their free will or free nature of acceptance, they accept everything, and they also turn into meat eaters. And that's probably why they bring a lot of some of the suffering to the Indian people lately. So I hope one day they will return to their original philosophy of life and be a vegetarian. And it will be fine. And now in this story, we can see that some of the human beings are not to be trusted. The elephant helped him carry him out of the danger, and then he sold the elephant. Actually, this story sounds very far-fetched, but it might be true too, because even in the modern time, we have heard of many stories in the newspapers or a true story about animals, wild animals, who rescue some infant somewhere because infant was abandoned or maybe lost in the forest. They rescue them and raise them. So some people, like about 10 years ago, there was a Catholic priest who saw two little girls about 10 years old living together with a group of wild wolves. Yes, and they have no problem together. And the girls also walk in by all four and hop around with them. And the wolves did do no harm to them, but raised them. That's why, perhaps from infantry, that's why they walk and they talk like a wolf, They also howl like wolf in the night, and especially at the full moon night. And the priest took pity upon these girls. So he tried to get some troops of the army, soldiers, to go over there and try to capture the two girls back. Because even though they walk with the walk by all four, but they are still very slow compared to the real wolves. So they were left behind after the other wolves have escaped. But the priest only wanted the two girls anyhow. So he took the girls home and feed them, clothe them, and try to teach them human behavior and language. But the girls are not very adapted to the new situation, perhaps feeling lonely and strange. I'm still walking with the four legs now and again, and always try to escape. Even though she can speak some human language now and wearing human clothes and eating at the table, still she tried to escape because she probably feel missing the wolves very much. I think they accepted the wolves as their parents. So after they were taken away from the wolves, they didn't live long. One girl died after another. They don't adapt the new situation. Always they try to go back to where they belong. From this story, we can see that it was a true story, From this story, we can see that even the wild and fierce animals, they do have love, and they do distinguish between a harmful human beings and a little helpless infant. So they adopted them. There are some of the films for children we have seen similar to this story. Perhaps it comes from this story. The film comes from this story. And many other instances, like a crocodile helped to bring a small drowned girl back to her father. You would not believe it. Probably he was full. Eaten dinner already. And many other instances, like the elephant girl, because she lived through the elephant, thing like that. Or maybe Tarzan, maybe that was a true story too. The monkey boy, and things like that. So if we come to think about it, some of the animals truly are like human, and sometimes even better than some of us humans, in terms of discriminating between right and wrong, between virtues and evil. So this is one of the best reasons why we should not eat animal. We should just leave them alone and live in harmony together. But we also know many instances that the tiger or the crocodiles turn on their owners and eat them too, or maul them to death. Yes, perhaps because sometimes the instinct in them has awakened. So it's better you don't play with tigers and crocodiles and things like that. Huh? Will you? Not because master say, oh, animals are good and you try. Don't try and blame me. Huh? We better not look for troubles where there is none. So just live around human being and keep safe. But what I mean is this story of the elephant might not be completely fiction, huh? Because even in modern time there's similar stories. So, all right, with this in mind, be happy that you're vegetarian and behaving good. It's the 5th day already, right? Huh? Wow. Huh? 5th day, huh? After the 4th day, it's gone faster. Don't worry about that. Okay. Have a good night. Huh? You happy? Good. So animals are all over. Yeah, it's dark over there. Huh? But you see, we should be happy that we have enough electricity. Huh? It's very civilized here, huh? Don't you think? 没有男孩子，我们一起脱光光跑来跑去。连衣服也不用穿，不用设计新的啊。这边都是中国人是吗？对不起，这几天听得好吗？好舒服啊！听得像耳聋一样啊！有没有好玩啊 ？Put your earphones on. I'm talking a foreign language now. 还好哈，大家舒服啊！哎呀。去哪里都逃不开中国人，真烦，没办法的。那么你们喜欢这里吗？不错嘛哈。你们能不能想象在那个一个森林里面这个样子，有电有水呀啊，还有电风扇呢？开玩笑。我房子还有冷气， 就是这样子。我们修行福报很多啊，去哪里都可以处理哈。OK， 事实上去哪里我们有一点头脑就可以办事了。这边这些都是要留下来的是吗？啊？笑什么？不是啊，是啊，全部啊。太好了。这边他们很需要人才啊，像你们这种有人没才的回去了。有没有人有什么才华啊？男孩子有吗？啊？不敢讲话。有啊，有才华，滑头去呢，可以煮饭。煮饭的时候要转到这里，知道吗？我有抓到几个没转，罚跪也半个小时。饭菜好吃吗？好吃。有没有太多苍蝇什么？没有。OK good。我告诉你，你做事都不很细心的。比方说这样的地瓜啊，西瓜很多啊，砍这样子放在那个盘子里面，有没有？然后上面盖起来。不过他们怎么盖呢？一个嘎着一个上面，在盖上面而已，下面洞很多，那看不到苍蝇，因为他们都在下面，忙着吃西瓜。哎呀，真不可思议。这个是中国人的做法，到柬埔寨还是一模一样。他不用去哪里，根本没什么用。到这里又改一下啊！这边怕苍蝇多嘛，大家吃了肚子不舒服。盖的话盖清楚啊，不要盖在地瓜那个露出来上面，这样漏洞很多，何必盖呢？我们盖为了要免动物嘛、昆虫嘛，盖那个样子就不用了啦。比方说他们把两个盘子加一起哈，一个盖子盖在另外一个盖子上面，像开窗帘一样，知道吗？我去看了，我也觉得正是台湾的做法。看了不用问就知道了。不用问是谁弄的。有法规一个人啊，你们小心啊。是轮办的吗？是那些而已啊。切，好了，你们要小心，看看他们有没有做得好啊。喜欢这里吗？喜欢。这边很大啊。好的都可以留的，没关系。跟同理讲，是他过滤的，我不管。这边谁住都没关系嘛，知道哈？那个可以住了1个月，1个月以后就延到1年啊，1年再延1年，延3次就变那个常住，不是公民，拘留了。很友善啊，目前是这样子。利用机会。好啊，晚安。 damage. Okay, everybody? Feel good? How do I look? Good only? Oh, gentlemen. So, the last animal for Shakyamuni Buddha, to pay homage to the greatest master, one of. How about your meditation? Not bad, huh? Hi, Peru. You are here? How many hours from Peru? Huh? Oh, you were in a center. You're traveling around. Oh, I see. Normally, how many hours? 30. Huh? 30. Uh-huh. I know. Okay. So you enjoy your travel? You enjoy your travel or your trouble? You look better this time than last time I saw you. More acceptable. Less like a pirate. One day I was singing somewhere in my room, in my place. And then some person come and do some drilling work outside, you know. You know this? Like this. Oh, and my inspiration was very much annoyed. And my ego was very, I would say, hurt, huh? So I come and tell him. I come out and look at him. I stop singing, huh? Come out and look at him. If he's a real gentleman, he would understand. But I don't know if he was. I look at him. And he looked at me. He said, go on, keep singing. You don't disturb me at all. I don't hear anything. There was a lady who went to the beach. And then in her bikini, and take a swimming thing like that. And afterwards she went into the shower room, in order to wash off the salty water. And then suddenly she discovered that somebody was outside of the window, you know, kind of staring at her because she was in a birthday suit. So she was so shocked, stood still, didn't know what to do. She kept staring at him too. And the man said, what's the matter with you? Haven't you seen a man before in your life? This is a sort of thing that we always do. There was a man, first time he has written some stage play, drama, and then he make a rehearsal and invite a kind of a theater director to come see whether he's happy with his first work or not, and then he will be accepted and then pay money. So after he's conducting the drama, and the director just sat in the audience row, you know, alone, and sat there. And after about 5 minutes, he kept nodding of, you know, the director. Okay. And the conductor continued, you know, his conducting business. And later he come down and he said, how did you think? How do you think about my work, director? So the director kept silence. He just woke up from his dream. He didn't know what to say. So the director kept asking again, come on, I work very hard on this. At least I need an opinion, you know? You just tell me something. The director said, well, Sleeping is also a kind of opinion. There was a little flea who lives in the ear of a lion. Yeah. And one day, the hunter came, and then tried to shoot the lion. But the lion was more clever and strong, so he overpowered the hunter and killed him. And after that, the flea came out and said to the lion, "Wow, didn't we both saw him, hey?" Yeah. That's good, huh? We show them, huh? Both of us. We show the Maya, who is the boss around here. Okay, the noble steak, huh? Noble golden steak. You know what a steak is? The one look like the deer, similar to the deer, and have a very big, branchy horn. And the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, is supposed to be reincarnated once as a noble golden stage. Well, actually, golden, I put it on. They have forgotten, so they forgot to print it, so I just added on, because everything else is golden. Oh, why not? Huh? So I'm sure they have forgotten this time. Once, when Brahmadatta was the king of Benares, you know him already or not? Okay, all right. I don't have to introduce, huh? There lived a mighty stag in the forest. People would call this an antelope, no? Why stag? I don't know. There must, male. Oh, an antelope is female? No? Male deer. And a deer is a female deer, right? So what is it then? If both are deer, stag is a male deer, not an antelope? What? Oh, general for both male and female. And stag is for male. It's stag and dove. Oh, yes. Oh, actually, he was a deer last time, so this time cannot be deer again. That's why they changed into stag. All right, now I'm enlightened. Okay, now when the Brahmadatta, the king of Benares, was the king of Benares, there lived a mighty stag in the forest near the city. Now the king was very fond of hunting and considered that no man was better than him at the chase. Wow, what a pride. Big deal, huh? If you be proud of yourself as a killer, congratulations. One day, he went hunting and told the courtiers who had accompanied him thus, "No one needs to allow a single deer to escape, otherwise he will be severely punished." So naturally, the courtiers, did not wish to arouse the king's anger. So they decided amongst themselves, if we see a deer, we must somehow drive it to the place where the king is standing. So that it happened that very near, about 2 meters, and then the king just shoot him. So then he will always be the Almighty, the mighty hunter. Now the king stood at the end of a path, and the courtiers surrounded a thicket and beat the ground with sticks. The stag was in this thicket, and hearing the noise made by the courtiers, he rushed around, looking for a way to escape. But the courtiers stood firm, their bows and arrows ready. Bows or bow? Their bows. Bows and arrows ready. And there was no gap in their ranks. The stag saw the king standing alone at the end of the path and realized that this was his only chance of escape. So he came charging straight at the king. The king was dazed for a moment and then quickly shot an arrow at the stag, but he missed. Oh, supposed to be the best one. But perhaps this deer was a Buddha, a reincarnate, that's why. A future Buddha, so he could not shoot him. Now the deer is a very clever animal and usually managed to avoid arrows. When the shafts come straight, the deer stands still and lets them pass. If the arrow is shot from behind, the deer runs swiftly and outdistances the arrow. If the arrow falls from above, the deer bends its back so that the shaft misses. If the arrow comes from the side, the deer swears to avoid it, etc., etc., etc. Okay. If the arrow is aimed at the belly, the deer rolls over. Well, these are also good strategies for you to learn in case somebody aims a bullet at you and you know how to do it. When the arrow has passed, the deer jumps to its feet and runs away as swift as he can. When the king saw the stag roll over on the ground, he thought it was wounded and shouted aloud in triumph. Triumph? Oh, it's funny. Your English is very funny. But at that moment, the stag jumped up and was off past the circle of men. Seeing the stag flee into the forest, the courtiers called out to one another, "Whose post did the stag make for?" "The king's." But the king is shouting that he has hit it. What has he hit? The king has missed, I tell you. He has only hit the ground. The courtiers all started laughing and making fun of the king's poor marksmanship. "These fellows are mocking me," thought the king angrily. "They don't know what I am capable of." So sword in hand, he set off on foot at full speed, crying out, "I'm off to catch the stag." Oh, gosh. Talking about ego, huh? What is all this? So he managed to keep the stag in sight and chase him for 2 meters or something. No, 2 kilometers. The stag plunged into the depths of the forest, and the king still followed him. One day, on the stag's path was a deep hole where a tree had rotted away. It was full of water and covered with slime and weeds. The stag smelled to the water and seeing that it was a pit, so went around it. But the king went straight on and fell into the water. So the stag looked back and did not see him. He realized that the king must have fallen into the pit and went back to have a look. He saw the king struggle for his life in the deep, foul-smelling water and moved with pity. He thought, "I can't let the king drown before my eyes." So in spite of the fact that the king had chased him with the intention of killing him, the noble stag called out, "Don't be afraid, O king, I will save you. Have courage for a little longer." The stag knelt down and grasped a rock with his feet. And with a mighty effort, he lowered his body into the pit. The king clutched the stag around the neck, and the powerful animal leveled himself and the king back onto the ground. Lever, huh? So many words I don't know. I'm just too young for this English. Is that they use some of the kind of ancient English. So, in deep gratitude, the king did not wish to leave the stag and said to him, "Great king of the stags, come with me to Benares. It is a magnificent city that spreads over 12 miles. I will give you lordship over the city, and you can rule my people." Isn't that funny? Just because his life was saved, he sold his people to a deer. Can you believe that? He was very good, but still, if the price is too high, he valued his life so much. But perhaps he thought that the deer, the stag, was so wise and compassionate. It is fit to be a king anyhow, even though he was an animal. So the stag said to him, "Great king, I am an animal." He knows better than the king. "And I neither need nor want a kingdom. If you wish to remember me, rule your people well and teach them to lead a virtuous life." Saying this, the great stag turned away and disappeared into the depths of the forest. The king stared after him, tears falling out from his eyes, then slowly made his way back to his anxious courtiers. Then he returned to Benares. He had people proclaim throughout the city that from this day forward, let all my subjects lead lives of goodness and virtue. But the king told no one of how the stag had saved his life. In the evening, after eating choice food, he went to sleep on his brocade couch. At daybreak, he woke up and, sitting cross-legged on his couch, chanted a hymn, praising the virtues of the stag. Funny, it's terrible. He concluded that a wise man, though overcome by pain, can always hope for happiness. Wise men often feel both joy and sorrow, but they do not allow their emotions to overcome them. What a man wishes for does not always take place. What he does not want sometimes occurs. A man's happiness does not depend on his thoughts alone. He was chanting this kind of wise verse to remind himself, I guess. As the king was chanting this hymn, the sun rose. His priest had come early to inquire after the king's welfare, and as he stood outside the door, he heard the words of the hymn and thought to himself, "I can never make it, honey. This is a very rare word. We don't use it every day." Yesterday, the king went hunting. He must have aimed at the stag and missed. Doubtless, the courtiers made fun of him, and the king must have decided to catch and kill the victim himself. He obviously chased the stag and on the way fell into a pit. Despite the king's determination to kill him, the noble golden stag rescued him. I think this is why the king is chanting such a hymn. Why are you laughing at? Thus, the priest heard every word of the hymn and what had happened to the king on the previous day, because the king was chanting out loud, like a confession about everything. I wonder why he does it. And became clear to him as a face reflected in a well-polished mirror. He knocked at the door. "Who is it?" called out the king. "Is it I, my lord, your priest?" "Come in," said the king, and opened the door. The king opened the door himself. Very humble indeed. The priest entered the king's chamber and said, "Great king, I know what happened to you in the forest yesterday. You chased a stag and you fell into a pit. Leaning on a rock, the stag pulled you out of the pit and thus saved your life." The king thought, "How can this be? This man did not go hunting with me yesterday, and yet he knows exactly what took place. Is he a magician?" So he asked the priest, "Priest, you were not with me yesterday." Oh, how boring. He asked how he knows, okay? All right, and then, are you having superhuman powers? Are you a magician? So the priest said, "No, I'm not a magician. Great king, I neither saw nor heard anything yesterday, but I was standing outside your door when you sang the hymn in praise of the noble stag, and that is how I knew what took place yesterday." The king was delighted with the priest's wisdom and gave him a rich reward. What kind of wisdom is that? Just to spy outside a window and then have a rich reward. What kind of story is this? From then onwards, the king led a pious life and regularly gave alms to the poor in his kingdom. His subjects also followed the example of their king and devoted their lives to performing good deeds. When they died, they went straight to Master Qinghai's abode. One day, Saka, the king of the gods, was sitting in his throne, on his throne in heaven, or on his throne in heaven. Yeah, in his throne on heaven. On his throne in heaven. And he began to wonder where all the new sons and daughters of the gods had come from. Come from the Supreme Master Qinghai Meditation Association. Where else? So thinking over the matter, he remembered how King Brahmadatta had been rescued by a stag from a pit, and how he and his subjects had led virtuous lives thereafter. These subjects had gone to heaven and were the new sons and daughters of the gods. Saka resolved to test the king's virtue, and making himself invisible, came down to earth. Wow, it's nice, huh? Just one noble stag, and then make the whole country became virtuous and noble. So actually, we don't have to be in a high position to rescue sentient beings or to make a good example for others to follow. Even as a deer, we can do that. This story just to show, as many other stories, that the Buddha in his previous lifetimes has always been noble and virtuous, and has always been doing many things benefit mankind and his own species. Therefore, after accumulating a lot of merit like this over the lifetimes, the Buddha has become what? Buddha. So stupid. What else can he become? Okay. So that morning, the king has gone to the park with his priest to practice shooting at a target. Yes. He held his bow and arrow ready. Then when Saka, by his supernatural powers, made the stag appear between the king and the target. At once the king lowered his bow. Then Saka made the priest speak in this manner. He used his magical power to force the priest to speak. The priest speak to the king like this: "Oh, great king, your arrow can kill the most powerful animal. Why don't you shoot? Let your arrow fly and kill the stag. His meat is worthy of being tasted by a monarch like you." The king replied, "I know that as well as you, priest. Stag's meat is delicious in flavor and well worth eating by warriors just as myself. But this stag once did me an unforgettable service, and therefore I will not kill him." So the priest continued, tempting him. "Great king, this is no stag, but a giant. You are the king of men. Kill him, and you shall become the king of gods. But if you hesitate to kill the stag because he once befriended you, then you, your queen, and your children will descend into the cold river of death and live with Yama, the dread king of the underworld." "So be it," the king said. "Send me, my wives, my children, and all my friends and comrades to Death's river and Death's king. But I will never commit this foul deed, and this stag will never die by my hand. Once in a forest, this very stag saved my life. How can I possibly kill him?" Then Saka, the god of gods, appeared in his own form before the king and said, "May you live long, sure, true, and faithful friend." I'm trying to imitate the god's powerful voice, but I couldn't, so just let it be. "Rule your people wisely and justly." Is that how they speak? Sometimes I watch movies, they speak like that. "When you come to heaven, you shall reign among the gods. You are possessed of great powers. Play your part well on earth, and heaven will be your final reward. I came to earth only to test you, great king. I have found you worthy of my trust. Continue to care for your subjects and all strangers in your kingdom." Saying this, Saka the god vanished in a cloud of mist and returned to his kingdom in heaven. So we have a rescue Sakyamuni Buddha, make him come alive again. Good story, huh? All right. I'm also very grateful for some of the translator to make these Sanskrit stories available to us. All this story I told you may be true, maybe not, huh? But the logic and the virtues and the moral lessons inside are worth for us to contemplate. I hope that my English was good enough for you, that you can understand. If not, you get the tape again and try to get the dictionary and try to imagine what I have spoken. But was it clear to you? Sometimes, if I read books, I'm a little bit not very fluent. If I speak like this, I can blah, 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 blah all the time. I'm not used to it, prepared text. Every time if I read something or I do some prepared work, I don't feel natural anymore. It's not spontaneous anymore. But it's okay to have stories read from the book so that you know I didn't make it up, like the snail and the soy sauce or something like that. All right, then I say good night. Thank you for your loving attention, and see you tomorrow. And you can come up see me if you wish. What's your airplane ticket? One of the old person complained to the doctor that his right ear is giving him trouble. He can't hear. So the doctor check, and listen, and say, you know, your ears is having trouble with this old age problem, you know. Your ears getting old, that's all. That's why you couldn't hear. So the patient said, nonsense, the left ear is just as old.